This message is for people trying to manifest something. We have 3 cards. Our first card is the Knight of Swords. So, with the Magician, first of all, it's Gemini energy. So, if you are a Gemini or have Gemini in your chart, that's Mercury. So, we are going to be having swirling thoughts if we have air in our chart, especially Mercury based. So, I will start by saying that. If that doesn't apply to you, we do also have, sorry guys, I'm trying to get this weird piece off of my, oh no, okay, we're back. Second thing I want to say, that's perfect too, that's literally like what the Knight of Swords feels like all your cards are flying everywhere, so thank you, wind, for that demonstration. Round of applause for the wind, everybody. Alright, now back to the Knight of Swords though. We also do have Mercury stationing direct. So things are going to feel clearer. So if you're feeling like I'm trying to manifest something and I know that it's the right time to do it, like I've been doing my research, I know that I have the clarity to do, sorry guys, let's wait for the wind to pass. You could be having, honestly, like the wind is really picking up. You could really be like struggling with your thoughts right now. Just take a couple breaths. You could need to meditate, honestly. That's why I'm out here. And I'm still making this video. I'm a Gemini midheaven, so I don't know what to tell y'all. Alright. Let's do something different here. Let's take these cards, stick them to the side. Now, back to the message. I honestly, like, when I get in this Knight of Swords, you would think that it's just mental. You would think that Knight of Swords is just, like, swirling thoughts, too much going on. But what happens, and, tell me in the comments if you guys relate to this, but what happens to me when I get into this Knight of Swords, like, trying to force stuff to happen as well, like, try to force manifestations to come to pass, like, it can be the right time. Like, you could have the research done, like, on whatever you're trying to do and everything, and I'm not saying that you haven't done that. What happens to me is when I get in this state, it's kind of like a frazzled state, I actually kind of, like, dip into my, like, lower, like, I start to feel kind of, like, down on myself. I start to, like, the racing thoughts about whatever I'm trying to manifest, like, it could start out actually off as a good thing. Like, wow, I there's so many things I want to do, 333 on my clock as I'm saying this, Empress, abundance mindset. You could be somebody who really practices the law of attraction, and, it's like, swirling thoughts can start off as a good thing, but sometimes when it just continues and continues and continues and continues, I'll speak for myself because I got a lot of Mercury in my chart. I'm a Virgo stellium and I have a Gemini midheaven, so that's like 4 Mercury placements right there. What happens to me is I actually start to, like, the thoughts can tip, like, the thoughts can start to, like, tip into, like, what do I think I'm doing with this? Well, what if this happens? And what if that happens? And then what if this happens? And then what if that happens? And then what if this person says this? And what if that thing says that? And then what, blah, 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 blah. And actually, what was I thinking? I really am not, like, capable of doing that anyway. I have so much going on in my life. How could I? It's like, that's what I mean by it starts to, like, dip. That's why this is not a good energy, because, yes, it's good to be, like, passionate about something and to be really thinking about it. And, if you just have, like, an overthinking tendency to begin with, like, this could just be you. Like, it's me, for example. Like, this is how I am. But sometimes this stuff can start to dip, and that's what brings me to my next card. All right, hold on. Where did my card go? Here we are. My next card, it's interesting that right now it's in the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse, even though that's not how it came out, but we have the Seven of Pentacles. And that's what I mean by the dip. We can start to get self-doubty, where it's like we came out hot on the scene with the Magician, the Ace of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, the Page of Swords. Like, we've done our research. We're ready for this. We know we're ready for this. We're going to manifest this thing. And that can be part of that Knight of Swords, where it's like we're trying to force something to happen because we know we're ready. What can happen with that Knight of Swords, though, is if we stay in that overthinking zone, it can start to make us doubt ourselves and question ourselves with the Seven of Pentacles. Like, and start to be like, wait, should I do that to begin with? Because we think so much about it, like we're so overstimulated, that it can cause us to like question the whole thing. This is the example. It's like, say you are like writing a letter. Like, say you're writing out a letter, or you're drawing a sketch, like you're painting a picture, right? This is why years ago, back when I was a CNA, I had like the absolute best client. She became like a grandmother to me, honestly. And I learned how to watercolor paint from her, and we would paint every time I would come over together, and she taught me all about like all sorts of things. She taught me so many things. Anyways, one of the main things she taught me, though, is like, when you paint something, set it aside, like, and come back to it tomorrow. Don't keep staring at it and looking at it and being like, oh, maybe I should just fix that up, or maybe I should just add a little highlight over there, or maybe I should paint over that because it looks like crap. What could happen is, for some reason, I'm seeing this plant right now as like a crumpled up piece of paper. What can happen is we can so overthink. Where's my Knight of Swords? Where'd he go? Here he is. We can so overthink with these two energies combined. I feel like these energies are lethal, and this is like where I end up a lot. I'll speak for myself. I'll use myself as the I'll call myself out so nobody has to feel like embarrassed. This is what I do all the time. These energies together are super lethal, because if we keep staring at that painting, that's why she taught me, set it aside, because if we keep staring at it, we're going to end up crumpling the whole thing up and just being like, what the hell was I thinking? Why was I even thinking I could do that anyway? It's like, what do you mean, why were you thinking you could do that? Magician, Wheel of Fortune, Ace of Swords, Page of Swords. You're logically prepared. You're spiritually prepared, Wheel of Fortune. The time is now. Karma's on your side. Magician, you've manifested many things similar to this before. You can do something similar again with the Magician. Like, you're somebody who believes in the law of attraction and manifestation and your ability to create your own reality. So what do you mean you're crumpling up your plan? Or that at the very least you think you're just hyper over analyzing your plan to the point where you're like, you don't even want to do it anymore. Like, it's not even fun anymore because it's just so, it's oversaturated with your own damn thoughts. Like, the algorithm of your mind is like going insane. Okay, so what's the solution? I believe card number 3 is actually the solution, which is this Justice card. Thank God for Libra, right? Sometimes Libra has to step in and just be like, everybody, okay, we need to meet in the middle here. That's why there's this scale here, right? The balancing, as well as these two pillars on either side of the Justice card, because they represent, it's like a neutrality. It's like when we have Seven of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, there's no neutrality here. These to me on the extreme sides, you know, or if you want to call it in the reverse, on the extreme polarities of these energies, it can go into self-deprecation. It can go into self-sabotage, where you're perfectly qualified to do something and you could probably teach others how to do it, and yet you're like questioning yourself and doubting yourself. That's when we need to step in with a neutralizer, which is this justice card, which balances things back again. It's like, what's a good example, Spirit? It's it balances out like the recipe, where it's like maybe something is like too salty, or you know, it's too sweet. We need to come in with some sort of like neutralizer that can help balance out the dish, that can help balance out our thoughts. Balancing, and this is still air energy, by the way, which is interesting. I feel like neutralizing thoughts are the best thoughts to have, and they're the most fair and the most accurate as well. When we get into those crazy cycles and patterns of overthinking and all that, you know, self-deprecation, can get into those darker energies and everything. It doesn't do anybody a service. It doesn't serve anyone, and it's never accurate. I would go as far as to say it's never accurate, because it's like overblown. It's out of proportion. You know, even if you do fail at something and it doesn't work out as you thought, oh well, you know, there's 6 more days in the week, friends. Like, let's go back to the drawing board. Like, nothing is that serious. Nothing is that, like, if you're somebody who catastrophizes, I'll raise my hand. Hello everybody. My name is Missy Gordon. Hi. And I catastrophize things. All right. The best thing to do is to neutralize those thoughts, which it's more just like, it doesn't have to be like, I'm amazing, everything I do turns to gold. I mean, those affirmations like are good, but if you're somebody like me that sometimes kind of gags at some of that stuff, hit it with a more neutralizing approach, where it's like, you know what, let's just try it. Let's balance it out. Let's see how it goes. Say we start working on something, we don't like how it looks, or we don't like how it's going, or we don't like how it feels. It's like say this side is too far down. It's like, all we gotta do is put a few little items on this side. Let's balance it back out again. Nothing's the end of the world, right? Nothing's gonna kill you. Well, I'm gonna be embarrassed, and I'm gonna be ashamed that it didn't work, and then everybody knows it didn't work, and then everybody knows that I'm a fool and I'm a failure and I'm a clown. Okay, first of all, what are they doing? What are they up to? You know what I'm saying? How's their schedule looking? How's their day looking? How are their 10 projects looking? Because we all know, if you're an overthinker, you're probably working on 10 different projects at a time. Or you have all these ideas. Where are their ideas at? Let's take a little meeting. Let's step to the side. Let's talk. See, horn for confirmation. Let's ask them what they're up to. Okay. So we're back. Let's get back to the neutralizing thoughts, which is like, you know what? Absolute worst case scenario, this whole thing bombs, whatever I'm working on. There's always tomorrow, first of all. Okay. Second of all, what if it works out? Or what if it's kind of just more neutral? Like, maybe it's not as great as I thought it was going to be, or it wasn't as successful as I thought it was going to be. Let's just take, like, YouTube, for example, because I'm always on YouTube. Like, oh, I put out a video, it didn't, like, I put a lot of work into it, didn't get as many views as I thought, but hey, it still got some views. That's a neutralizing thought, I feel. It's like, it's kind of just giving credit. Like, move back from yourself from time to time, and like, detach from your own self and be like, what would I say to someone else who was in this position? You know, like, if you're somebody who's super hard on yourself, you're probably an empath, right? You're probably somebody who helps everybody else, but then when it comes to you, you're like, I suck. I'm calling you out. If we can just practice these more, like, neutral thoughts, again, it doesn't have to be corny, it doesn't have to be, like, hyper positive. It can just be like, you know what, but I did a good job, or I'm gonna do a good job, or I'm gonna do my best, I'm gonna show up, and, okay, my video got 13 views, hey, 13 more views than I had before, as an example. It's like, yes, it's positive, but I feel like it's more neutral. It neutralizes the hyper negative. Like, when you get hyper negative, I find it's strange, but I find that hyper positive doesn't necessarily neutralize the hyper negative. I feel like, and maybe it's just because I'm a Virgo stellium and I'm more of like a realist type. I don't like when people blow smoke up my ass. I don't like to blow smoke up my own ass. I don't like to be like, you are the most amazing thing since sliced bread. Everything you do touches the gold. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm just saying I feel like it's better to be a realist and to just be like, you know what? Hell, I'm doing something, I'm working on it, I'm doing the best I can. As long as I don't give up, I haven't failed. Right? So this is just a video of encouragement, just to like do what you want to do, whatever you're trying to manifest right now, or whatever you're already in the process of manifesting. With the Seven of Pentacles, it could be that you're already in the process of something, and maybe you're kind of questioning it, like, is it going as well as I thought it should be going, or as I want it to be going, or whatever. Don't crumple that thing up. Do not crumple that painting up. It's beautiful. And sometimes it's best to just kind of take a little step away from it, because you're going to find that when you look at it the next day, you're going to see it with new eyes and be like, wait a minute, why am I being so hard on myself? Yesterday morning, before I started the painting, I didn't even have a painting, and now I have one. Obviously, painting is an example. You could be building something for your business. You could be doing something online. You could be implementing some sort of like new routine. You could be meditating more. Oh, well, I only meditated for 11 minutes. Okay, 11 more than most of the freaking population meditates, right? So I love you guys. Try not to be so hard on yourself, because this is something, the reason why I have this advice is because I deal with this every single day in my own mind. You know, like, I'm always having to work on this neutrality of the mind. I feel like that's really the best tactic, because it's the most honest, and you know you're not bullshitting yourself. You know you're not being like hyper and inflating your value. And I'm not saying that we aren't more valuable than we give ourselves credit for, but I'm saying sometimes it helps to just be more on that, just almost kind of detached, facts on paper sort of a level. I find helps me, where it's like, okay, but you filmed the video, you created this thumbnail, you wrote the description, you put in the tags, you did the best you possibly could, you made the video from your heart, and then you released it. Oh, it only got 13 views. Okay, well, you can either give up and crumple up the piece of paper, or you can keep going. And that's the fight that I have every day with myself. And I've found that that's made me a very resilient person, because there have been many things in my life that I've never given up on. And I wouldn't be sitting here today if I had given up. So there's something to be said about perseverance as well. You know, Seven of Pentacles is somebody who's been working at something for quite some time. So if it's not working out as good as you wish it was, or if you're about to get started on something and you're worried it won't be good as you hope, just keep at it, because you also might pivot. Seven of Pentacles is also like change in direction. You may start doing something one way, and then when you get down the line, you might be like, okay, maybe I'm actually going to pivot and like do this a little bit differently. It doesn't mean the whole thing is failed. It just means that you actually you have a keen eye, and you know when something else may work better. So give yourself more credit, first of all. And second of all, keep going. Because as long as you don't give up, you will never fail. And you will continue to learn. And you're, at that point, you're like 90% ahead of most people. Right? I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.